All right, so today we are diving into the Traitors. You know that reality show that has everyone completely hooked?
Oh, yeah.
So we've got all your notes and research right here, and it looks like you really want to go beyond just the surface level of this show.
Yeah.
And get into like what makes it tick. You know, the production secrets and like all the psychological tactics that make this show so captivating. So just in case you're like living under a rock and haven't seen the Traitors yet, imagine this. You have a group of contestants.
Yeah.
They're the faithfuls. They're on this mission to like root out the traitors who are hiding among them.
Right.
And these traitors are secretly plotting
Yeah.
to eliminate all the faithfuls while pretending to be their allies.
A tough job.
It's a game of deception with this like healthy dose of paranoia.
It really is.
But like, how does this actually work?
Right.
What's going on
Behind the scenes.
behind those dramatic castle walls?
Exactly.
That is what we're here to uncover. One of the things that I found super surprising was learning about the blindfolds and the hotel transfers.
I know, it's wild. Every night, the contestants, they're blindfolded.
Seriously?
And driven separately to a hotel.
Wait, so every night?
Every night.
They're like leaving the castle?
Away from the castle.
Taken somewhere else.
Completely separate.
And like blindfolded.
They can't even see each other.
This is nuts.
It's to ensure that there's no off-camera strategizing or, secret alliances going on.
Oh, so they're not like hanging out in some secret wing of the castle.
No,
or like,
you would think, correct.
You think they'd be in some like luxurious hidden annex.
Yeah, a dungeon.
Yeah, but it's just
a standard hotel.
Regular hotel.
Pretty ordinary.
All this like intense drama is unfolding, and then they're just whisked away to
a Courtyard by Marriott.
Courtyard by Marriott.
I know.
This is crazy.
Yeah, but I think it just adds to that whole paranoia and just wondering, like, who can I trust?
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're constantly separated.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like a real life
social experiment.
Totally. They're isolating them.
Yeah.
Amplifying the psychological pressure. I mean, I can only imagine the sleepless nights.
I know, me too.
Oh my gosh. And speaking of like adding to the intensity, we have to talk about the Traitors Oath.
The oath.
This is chilling.
I know. It's not just for dramatic effect.
Right.
When a contestant is chosen as a traitor, they have to swear this oath. And it's a binding agreement that kind of sets the tone for the whole game.
So, like, what is involved in this oath?
Okay, so they have to commit to lie and deceive throughout the game.
Whoa.
And be willing to murder fellow players every single night.
Murder.
Oh, these words are so intense. Like, I can practically feel the weight of this commitment.
Yeah.
So, like, beyond just the drama, what is the point of this oath?
Well, I think it's all about psychological impact.
Okay.
You know, the wording is super provocative. Designed to make the traitors just fully embrace those roles.
Right.
And then it also creates a sense of consequence. Because if you break the oath, then you get kicked off the show.
Oh, they have to really commit.
Yeah, you have to commit.
Wow.
And it raises a question.
What's that?
If the traitors are bound to lie, does that mean that the faithfuls have to always tell the truth?
Oh, that's interesting.
Could they use deception to their advantage?
Wow, that is a really good point.
Right.
Seems like there's more nuance to this game than meets the eye.
Yeah.
The lines between truth and deception get very, very blurry.
Very blurry.
Okay, so let's talk about, like, choosing these traitors. Like, it's not random, is it?
No.
Claudia Winkleman, the host, she has a hand in this, right?
She does.
Yeah.
She actually interviews each potential traitor.
So it's not just a quick chat.
No, it's a full-on interview.
Wow, and she's looking for specific personality traits.
Not just someone who wants to be a traitor, but someone who can actually
pull it off. Exactly.
So it's not just about the desire to deceive, but the ability to be convincing.
Exactly.
But wouldn't that give the traitors like a built-in advantage?
Well,
if they're like handpicked for their skills at deception?
Yeah.
Is that fair to the faithfuls?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder.
Right.
Claudia's really looking for people who are intelligent, socially adept, and ready to make bold moves.
So they're casting for like a psychological thriller?
Basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you've got all this research here.
Yeah.
About how the producers are trying to just engineer the most entertaining experience possible.
Of course.
So it's like they're stacking the deck a little bit by choosing these traitors who are so good at manipulation.
They're naturally gifted.
But wouldn't that make it too predictable?
I mean, there is that risk, but I think that what makes it unpredictable is how the faithfuls react. Are they going to be able to see through those manipulations?
Right.
And let's not forget, the faithfuls, they have strengths too. They're chosen for their trustworthiness and their ability to kind of work together as a team.
So it's like a constant
push and pull
between these two sides.
Yeah.
So we've got blindfolds, this chilling oath, and a host who's essentially like a master manipulator scout.
She's good.
I know.
Very good.
So it seems like the producers are really pulling a lot of strings
behind the scenes
to create this super captivating experience.
They are.
But how does all this differ between the UK and the US versions of the show?
Ooh, okay. This is where things get interesting.
Okay.
So while the core concept is the same,
the
UK and the US versions, they have very distinct flavors.
Oh, interesting.
So the UK edition, with Claudia at the helm, it leans more towards character development and emotional depth.
Okay.
You see, like, these everyday people wrestling with the moral dilemmas of the game.
Yeah, I've noticed that in the UK version, there seems to be more of an emphasis on
the roundtable discussions.
Where they're just like dissecting every word and every action.
Exactly.
It's like we get to see into their minds.
Yes.
Their doubts, their suspicions. Totally. It's fascinating.
It is, and that's something that you don't always see in the US version.
Right.
It adds a layer of psychological depth.
It really does.
By forcing them to confront their biases, question their assumptions, and just navigate that whole emotional minefield.
Yeah, it's like they're playing the game of chess. Yeah. But the pieces are people.
Ooh. Like
or own
motivation.
Abilities. Yeah. And, those roundtable discussions aren't just for the player's benefit.
Right.
I mean, they're a key element.
Totally.
Of the UK version's appeal to us as viewers.
Yeah.
Because it allows us to connect with the players on a deeper level.
Right.
And understand, like, the emotional roller coaster that they're going through.
Exactly. We're right there with them.
Yeah.
Trying to decipher the truth from the lies.
Yeah.
Feeling the weight of their choices.
We're like armchair detectives.
That's it.
Alongside the players.
I love that the UK edition invites you to kind of participate in this psychological drama.
Oh, absolutely.
To become an armchair detective.
I love it.
Okay, so.
Yes.
That is part one of our deep dive into the Traitors.
I'm ready for part two.
So make sure to come back for part two.
Absolutely.
Where we'll continue to unravel all the juicy secrets.
I'm so excited.
Behind this hit show.
I love it.
All right. See you then.
Bye.
And that's really one of the key differences, I think, between the UK and US versions, is that UK production just seems to embrace those, like, quieter moments of reflection.
Right.
Like those subtle glances and those hesitant words that kind of reveal the inner turmoil of the players.
Whereas the US version is much more, like, explosive in your face.
In your face, yeah. Different style of gameplay.
Totally different style.
Yeah.
And also, it seems like they're casting for that.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit in the U.S. version.
Oh, absolutely. They want those big personalities.
The big personalities who are going to clash.
Yeah, going to create those, like, water cooler moments.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like they're casting for fireworks.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that, in the U.S. version, you often see contestants who are, like, familiar with reality TV.
They've been there, done that.
They've been there, done that, so they have that, like, pre-existing competitiveness and strategic know-how.
Yeah. It's more about, like...
Game on.
Game on.
Yeah.
Less about the
human...
Human element, exactly.
Yeah, I guess.
So, yeah, they're casting for fireworks in the U.S. version. So if the UK version is simmering, the U.S. version is...
Pressure cooker.
Pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, like, the hotel transfers and everything.
Yeah.
And you were saying that they actually stay at a fairly standard hotel.
I know.
It says here, a Courtyard by Marriott.
I know. It's so funny, right?
So funny.
All this, like, betrayal and
stakes.
High stakes. And then they're, like, grabbing a coffee in the lobby cafe.
I know. It's wild.
Yeah.
So I guess not everything about the show is, like, meticulously crafted to heighten the drama.
Right.
But it's all about finding that balance, right? Between creating a believable world, but still delivering those moments.
Oh, captivating moments.
Yeah, exactly. Those captivating moments.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to go back to the Traitors Oath for a second.
Okay.
We talked about its dramatic effect.
Yeah.
But do you think, like, the oath actually has, like, a genuine psychological impact on the players?
That's a good question.
Yeah, like could those words actually like influence their behavior?
I mean, I think we can't discount the power of language.
Right.
Especially in a situation like this.
Yeah.
Where the lines between reality and game are so blurred.
And they're literally swearing to lie.
Exactly.
Deceive and murder.
Yeah.
Even if it's metaphorical.
Right.
That's got to mess with your head a little bit.
Yeah, I think it creates this kind of cognitive dissonance.
Right.
Where they're forced to kind of reconcile their actions with their moral compass.
Right.
And plus, like, you know, there's that consequence of breaking the oath.
You're out.
You're out.
Yeah.
So there's a real consequence.
Yeah, it's like signing a pact with the devil.
Totally.
Yeah.
Committing to this, like, dark path.
But then how do they ensure that the faithfuls don't, like, accidentally find out what the traitors are up to?
That's a good point.
With all that isolation, it seems like it would be easy to slip up.
Yeah, the production team goes to great lengths to prevent, like, any accidental reveals.
Okay.
So they enforce strict rules.
What kind of rules?
Like no unauthorized conversations.
Okay.
No being left alone together.
Oh, so it's like Big Brother's always watching.
Yeah, constantly monitoring their every move.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very controlled environment.
No wonder the paranoia levels are through the roof.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's all about maintaining the integrity of the game.
Right.
And, of course, maximizing the drama.
The drama.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us back to the casting process.
Right.
We were talking about how Claudia, like, handpicks the traitors. But it says here that the contestants actually apply to the show.
Yes.
And they indicate whether they want to be a traitor or a faithful.
That's right.
So they're, like, pre-screening for personality types.
Absolutely.
And then they have people practically begging to be the bad guys.
I know.
This show is layers upon layers of deception.
Layers upon layers.
I almost think we need a deep dive just on the casting process.
I agree.
Like, what kind of person actively seeks out to deceive others?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
What motivates them?
It's fascinating.
Get a real-life personality test, but with much higher stakes.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
I know, it's crazy.
So we've got Blindfolds, Secret Oaths, Mastermind Host.
Yeah.
A casting process that's straight out of a psychological thriller.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
We talked about the UK version's emphasis on emotional depth. And the U.S. version's more strategic, explosive approach.
Right.
What are, like, some other key differences that you see?
So I think one of the most striking differences is the role of the host.
Okay.
So Claudia Winkleman in the UK version, she's, like, incredibly emotionally invested in the game.
I've noticed that.
And the players, she seems genuinely concerned for their well-being.
Even when she's orchestrating their downfall.
I know, even as she's, like, sending them out.
So what?
Yeah, it's like she creates this atmosphere of warmth and intimacy.
Yeah, it's like a mother hen.
Yes.
Watching over her chicks.
Yeah.
Who are all plotting against each other.
Yeah, it's so good.
But, you know, Alan Cumming in the U.S., he's a little bit more...
Detached.
Yeah. Almost theatrical.
Yeah, almost like he's the ringmaster of this, like, crazy circus.
Yes, exactly.
Like just kind of reveling in the spectacle of it all.
So it's a really interesting contrast.
Yeah.
Claudia's empathy really draws us in.
Yeah.
But Alan's detachment creates this distance.
Yes.
Almost like we're watching a performance.
Exactly. Yeah. And that distinction kind of extends to, like, how the eliminations are handled.
Okay.
So in the UK version, the banishments are often very emotional.
Yeah.
You see genuine remorse.
Oh, yeah.
Even tears.
Yeah.
It's like a breakup.
Yeah.
Where relationships are fractured.
Yeah.
And trust is shattered.
It's intense.
It is intense.
But the U.S. version, it's like
more
strategic maneuvers.
It's less about the emotional fallout.
Yeah.
And more about just the game.
Like they compartmentalize their emotions.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're focused on, like, the strategic implications rather than the personal impact. It's like a colder, more calculated approach.
And I think that difference in tone might explain why the UK version has resonated so strongly with so many people.
I agree.
Like, it taps into our fascination with human psychology.
Right.
You know, our need to understand what makes people tick.
Yeah.
How they react under pressure and how they deal with that emotional fallout of betrayal.
Totally. Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
You know, the UK version offers this, like, more nuanced, more human portrait of deception, while the U.S. version delivers, like, that faster pace, more competitive spectacle.
It's like the difference between a slow burn psychological thriller
Yes.
and an action-packed spy movie.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Both can be entertaining.
Yeah.
But they appeal to different sensibilities.
Totally.
And let's not forget the impact of those roundtable discussions.
Yes.
What we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
They're like crucial to the UK version.
Absolutely.
Like to create that emotional depth.
Yeah. Those scenes really let us in to see what's going on.
Their minds.
In their minds.
Their doubts.
Yeah.
Their suspicions.
Yeah.
Those moments of realization.
They're mini therapy sessions.
Yeah.
They have to confront.
They're forced to confront their own vulnerabilities and the complexities of those relationships.
Like, it's so real.
Yeah. It adds a layer of authenticity that you don't often see.
In the U.S. version.
In the U.S. version.
It's like we're seeing the human heart.
Yeah.
You know, those raw emotions that drive our actions
Totally.
and our reactions.
And I think that's what makes the UK version so compelling. It's not just a game, a reflection of the human condition, you know, like a study in trust, loyalty, and betrayal.
So we've really explored like the contrasting styles of the UK and the US versions.
Right.
You know, we've delved into the psychological nuances of the production choices that shape each show, but there's one final element.
Okay.
We haven't really discussed yet.
Okay. I'm ready.
And it's an aspect that I think might just tilt the scales.
Okay.
In favor of the UK version.
Okay. Tell me more.
You know, we talked about the round tables and how they show like all those emotional moments of the game. But it's not just like expressing feelings, right?
Oh, no.
There's a strategy there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're not just venting sessions.
Right.
They're opportunities to gather information, test theories, and, you know, really influence how the group sees things. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a verbal chess match where like every word, every like...
inflect, every gesture.
Every little thing.
Is a calculated move.
Is a move.
Yes.
That's wild.
It is.
It's so fascinating how these like simple conversations become so layered.
Right.
So complex.
It really makes you realize that communication is not just about words.
Right.
It's also about like interpreting those subtle cues, those nonverbal signals.
And the UK version just nails that.
They do. Like those lingering camera shots. You get to see those moments of doubt. Those little shifts in expression.
Well, you're like, oh, I see what you're doing there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like we're given access to this secret language.
Totally.
That lets us decode, like...
their thoughts.
And their motivations.
And their motivations.
It makes it so good.
It does. And that's what makes the UK version so captivating. You know, it's not just about watching people lie and deceive, but it's about understanding... the why.
The psychology.
The psychology behind it. Yeah.
All those relationships and the emotional stakes involved. And it's a reminder that even in a game, human connection is so vital.
It is. Like trust, loyalty, betrayal. These are like universal themes that resonate with everyone.
And I think that's why the UK version has left such a lasting impression.
It has.
Because it's not just entertainment.
Right.
It's a glimpse into the human psyche.
Yes.
It makes you think.
It makes you think.
Okay, so knowing all of these secrets, does it change how you watch the show?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah. Like, do you think you could spot a traitor now?
Oh, I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so, but it's hard to say.
Right.
You know?
But what would your strategy be if you were playing?
I think I would just try to be as observant as possible.
Okay.
Really pay attention to those nonverbal cues.
Right.
Try to build strong alliances.
Okay.
But also be wary of everyone.
Because you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
It's a tough game.
So we've unpacked a lot today. We have blindfolds.
Secret oaths.
Secret oaths. A mastermind host.
A casting process straight out of a spy movie.
And of course,
the UK versus US.
The emotional depth of the UK version.
Yeah.
Versus the strategic intensity of the US version.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. The world of the traitors.
It's deeper than it seems.
It's deeper than it seems. So stay tuned for more deep dives in the future.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.